Hey everyone, Eric Thompson here. Hope that you are doing well indeed. Welcome back to the AFI Top 100 review. Now, number 93, 1971's The French Connection. Why is this film on top? Well, it's not on top. Why is it on the AFI Top 100? Well, a little background, okay? Really a very simple, straightforward film. Perhaps that gives it some strength. Gene Hackman as Detective Jimmy Doyle, Popeye, who's part of the Narcotics Bureau with the New York Police Department. And he catches a lead about an international drug smuggling operation. And simply said, the movie is he spends the movie getting to the bottom of things, okay, trying to figure out who done it. and what ensues is really a classic, timeless, dramatic thriller, okay, based on drug trade, forensic analysis, detective work, gunfights, car chases, and all of this. And I believe it's on the AFI Top 100 for its innovation and for its bravery in not being the first by any means, but being one of the first films to aggressively approach the drug trade world. And of course, here we are at the top of the 70s when we see in general, you know, the drug scene, the narcotic scene starting to pick up, okay? I mean, you see how it's dramatized in film and in TV in the 70s and certainly in the 80s and the club scenes and all of that. And so here in 1971, you know, really quite early on, but The French Connection, you know, doesn't apologize for anything. And it strives to be a film filmed in somewhat of a sense of reality, okay? It remains relevant today, absolutely. Curiously enough, kind of just a fun little fact, it was the first R-rated film to be awarded the Best Picture Oscar. Indeed, there may have been other films that were equally gruesome or gory, but up until that point, you know, the NPAA had never given the film an R rating. This film came out just after they had sort of created it, okay? And so it was the first film to receive an R rating. But I believe that it holds true for us today. It remains an important film for us. It remains relevant, worthwhile, because it is sort of the forerunner for what would become an incredibly popular and lucrative string of movies. Of course, 1971, and as you know, a year before The Godfather releases in 1972, a film that is not entirely about drug trade, but it's there. Number 92 on the AFI Top 100, Goodfellas. You know what that movie is kind of about, okay? Along with so many other films, even recently, that have become really popular and very successful, and they're based on dramatic thriller elements related to drug trade, okay? I mean, besides, you know, the Godfather series and kind of some of those oh gosh, I don't even know how to say it. I'm thinking of, you know, Goodfellas and Casino, recently, like The Departed and Blow, of course, and so on and so forth. So, there's that. But just personally, I really enjoyed watching this movie again. I hadn't seen it in, maybe 5 or 6 years, and it was great to go back and watch it again. Also, kind of as an aside, but it remains relevant because the car chase in this film is widely regarded as being one of the most legendary in all of cinema. Not that it's necessarily more exciting than others, but because it's innovative. And some of the shots they have, like the camera being right on the bumper of the car, and them racing, the scene is that Popeye is chasing the bad guy who's on an elevated train on the L in Brooklyn. And so the car is driving underneath the railway and the train's going overhead. Meanwhile, cops and civilians are trying to chase him down in the train, so you kind of have two chase sequences happening at the same time. And so this is looked on widely as being a really legendary, exciting car chase scene that lives on for its fame and infamy, I suppose. But anyway, it was great to get back to it and see it again. Again, part of the value, and I hope that you're joining in as well, watching some of these films over again that maybe you haven't seen in a while. I like seeing some new films and watching some new ones that I have not seen. Let's see what's going on here. Oh boy. What was I trying to say? Oh yes, of course. I'm sorry, I got distracted talking with Scott. Scott, hello? Divinity. Where is God in this movie? I think of this one scene that's kind of toward the end of the second act, but it's a pivotal scene. It's really the pivot scene of the whole film. They bring in this car. It's after the big car chase sequence, right? Or the car chases the train sequence. And they bring in this car, and these thieves were trying to strip it down. So the police suspect, because it belonged to sort of the bad guy, that it contains drugs. And so they're looking around, and the mechanic, the police department mechanic, it strips the car down totally, you know. And he's like, well, nothing here. And Popeye looks at him and he's like, look, it's got to be in there. And so they, I mean, everything they can take out of this thing, they take out. And then, his sidekick, I don't want to say sidekick, but the cop that he works with says, you know, the weights don't match up on these police reports or whatever it was, manifests. And so they think, well, gosh, there's only one place that I didn't look, and it was the rocker panels. And that's kind of, you know, I don't know anything about auto mechanics. Michael knows more about this stuff than I do. But, you know, when you open the door of your car and you look down, where you would step to get in the car, you know, you put your foot down and then you step in. It's underneath that, okay, underneath that panel. And there's a space, you know, sort of kind of below where you sit, to the left or right, depending on which side. And sure enough, they open it up and guess what's in there? That's right, the narcotics. And I thought about that, and it sort of reflected back to me, anyway, something of the spiritual life, in that sometimes there are things that go wrong in life, and we try to figure it out, or where did that come from? Try to discern or dissect what's been happening. We can't figure it out exactly. It's not so easy. And then somehow, in the last place we thought to look, you know, maybe even an obvious place, but we look there and we see, oh, that's what it was the whole time. Maybe it's our fault that something went wrong in a relationship, or we had a bad exchange with a coworker. Maybe it's something even more obvious in a different circumstance that we've been through, whatever that might be. The psalmist, King David at least, certainly reflects this many times in the Psalms. Psalm 139 begins famously, Lord, you have searched me and you have known me. And that's good news. They had an awful time ripping this car apart to find the narcotics, you know, and we have an awful time ripping our lives apart trying to figure out what's wrong with us, you know. Sometimes the hurt is hidden. Sometimes the scars are beneath a lot of scar tissue, okay? The real pain is deep within us. God knows us thoroughly. That's good news today. I hope that's good news for you too. That God understands us, He knows us, He loves us, and even if we don't know ourselves as well as we like, or if we can't see to the heart of the problem, God can. And God's love is so great and so powerful and strong, generous, overflowing, that He'll help us to see those secret, hidden places in our lives where we really need healing, okay? Or where we need to discover that hidden thing, whatever it might be. So it's sort of a general reflection, but that's what that one scene reminded me of anyway. How God searches us and knows us. And try as we might, like I said, to rip our lives apart, God knows us thoroughly. As always, thanks for watching, my friends. Number 92 is coming soon. Goodfellas. Looking forward to that. got two kind of thrillers back to back, two cop gangster movies, sort of. And so, but that'll be all broken up quite soon by number 91, Sophie's Choice. And so the AFI Top 100 throwing curveballs all the time. In the description below, leave your comments, okay? What do you think of the review so far? Are you watching the movies with me? Do you like the videos? What can I do better? What should I change? Any suggestions you have are, of course, welcome. Like and subscribe if you care to. Also, in the description below on YouTube, okay? Not on Facebook. If you click over to YouTube, that is, if you click the link, or if you click the title of the video down below, okay? If you're watching me on Facebook, look down there, okay? If you click on the title of the video down below, where it says YouTube, okay, that will take you over to YouTube. And in the description of the video in YouTube, I have a link to the AFI Top 100, to the playlist of all these videos, and then to individual links to each of the videos if you want to click around, or as they say, click off to another video. That's all I have for this time. Thank you again for watching so much, and of course, hoping you're all doing very well. Thanks. Bye. Red button, red button.